moving on to our next panelist, she comes from Deloitte. She's the project manager for enabling services, and together with Spaceti, we've implemented a workplace management system for their 2,000 employee campus. Gabriela, can you hear us? Or,
yes, I can hear you. Hello.
Hey. So please feel free to take over. Thank you again. We really appreciate you joining. And I will move your slides as you speak. So don't feel pressured to do that, and just feel free to just talk and share your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hello everyone. Well, Akash already introduced me. I work for Deloitte, Czech Republic, as a manager in enabling services. And basically, we implemented Spaceti application. We call it D-Space. D is digital because we moved to our new office, I think 1.5 years ago. So we wanted to introduce not just the new office, but also the new approach to manage the building, to have the opportunity in a mobile phone to manage the building. So as you can see on the first slide, one of the first steps was that we installed tablets next to each meeting room, and we divided those into two areas. One is a client area, and the other one is the meeting room area. The reason is because there are different information displayed on the tablets. For the clients, what the users can see is who is organizing the meeting and the time, and the users can also order a refreshment for that meeting. And in the meeting area, the users can see who is organizing the meeting, name of the meeting, and the other attendees. The other thing is, from the tablet, you can make a quick reservation. So we selected the time for 10, 20, and 30 minutes. And if you see that the meeting room is empty and you want to use it ad hoc, so you just basically select the time and make the booking, and this booking gets automatically transferred to Outlook. So that means that no one else can book that room for that time which you're already using the meeting room. So, and there is also one more functionality, and it's calling a service. You can call IT service or cleaning service. If I'm saying calling, that means that basically you select that functionality and you type a message, and this message that gets automatically transferred to the IT or to the office management, who takes care of your request. The other thing which is very, very good is managing lockers. We have over 2,000 lockers in our building. And basically, before implementing the application, we didn't have a control over it because those lockers are not connected to a central brain. So the lockers were operated by the access card, the plastic access cards. So any employee can choose any locker and open it and close it by the access card. But as people are changing, we didn't have a control over it. So we had cases when the user or the employee left the company and the locker was still closed. So how to manage it? We found a solution with Spaceti. So basically, having this application, the user is asked to allocate the locker by the application. And then once it's allocated, the user can operate the locker by the application or also by the plastic card. Plastic access card. So it's a combination of those two. This way we get a control over who is having which locker. That's one thing, and also the user is having a control which locker he has selected. And with those lockers, we also divide it into two areas, two pools. One pool is just an ordinary locker, and the other pool is a fitness locker, because we have a fitness center with a changing room, and of course there is a I would say bigger demand than we can offer for those fitness lockers. So we built a calculation behind it, and if the employee is entitled to use the locker anytime, but if he uses the certain amount of hours, which is in our case is 100 hours for free, and any hour which is using over 100 hours is chargeable. So in the application, the employee can see which locker he selected, and how many time, the amount of hours he's already used this locker. So if he's actually, and also if he comes to a pool when he has to pay for the locker, he has a nice overview, what's the charge, and also he has an overview of history of those of those charges. The other part of the application is it's very useful, is you can get displayed places nearby the office, which is good for having a lunch or inviting someone for lunch. So you have an overview of restaurants nearby the area, or any services or doctors, etc. And the other functionality is basically the company, any I would say discounts or deals which the company make a deal for the employees. It gets displayed in the application, so the employee can use it and have the overview of it. Okay, can we go ahead? Okay, fine. A facility report, that's a very good one, because before our building has 7 floors. So if I'm on a 7th floor, our office management is on a 1st floor, and if I see any let's say any damage, I would have to either type an email or giving a call or whatever. So having this application, I can select it in it, and I can type the message, I can attach a photo, and this facility report gets directly to the office management, and they take care of it. And me as a user who call this, I'm getting a notification in my email box that I supported this issue, and this issue is being taken care. And if it's closed, I also get a message that this issue has been closed. So I as an end user, I have a nice overview, what is happening with my report. Okay, let's get there. Parking. I've heard that before. Parking. I would say it's something which make a headache, not just in our case. Excuse me. In our case, so parking. We have an overview, as you can see on the slide. As an employee, when I'm coming to the parking lot in the morning, I can see how many places we have and how many places is already used. What I can also select, I can select a map where I can see detailed map of the parking lot, and I can see which parking lot is free, which parking lot is occupied, so I don't have to drive around and trying to find a free spot. And the other thing is, in our case, parking is chargeable to the employees, and the reason is because we have a bigger demand than we can offer. So basically, we've decided that the employees are going to be paying for the parking, and there is a calculation behind it. And basically, me as an employee, I can see, how many hours I used, what is the charge for it, and of course, I can see it actual charge, and I can also see the history of the charge. And these amounts are, we paid monthly, and it gets automatically deducted from the salary, because there's a report behind which goes to the HR department, and HR departments, they make the necessary charges and deduct it from the salary. Okay, if you can go next. Right. Digital access and the elevators. To access the building and access the offices, the Deloitte office, is the employees can actually use at the beginning they were asked to use the identification, the plastic card, as I mentioned before, and now having the space, they can also use the application, the mobile, basically, to access the building. And this is actually connected to our security system, so it actually controls, where you are able, or where you can, which floor you can go, which floor you cannot go. So basically, I just want to say that the plastic cards actually mirror the same functionality as the mobile application, because both of them are connected to the security system. And also, by using the application, you can call the elevator. You just select the floor. There is a panel next to each elevator with NFC tag, and you just place your mobile phone near to the NFC tag, and the elevator gets called, and you get the message. Because we have like four elevators next to each other. You just get a message. Which elevator is coming for you. Okay, if we can go next.
Yep. I think that's it for the actual presentation. We are now going to the panel questions. Thank you so much, Gabriela. I think the project was, just speaking from the Spacey side, the project was a challenging one because it involved many different technologies and also many different tools and departments, and also the overall employee experience. It was a challenging one, but I think ultimately, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Gabriela, but very rewarding, and it creates a great experience for all the employees, and also gives great insights and reports for the management such as yourself. So that's just my comment as Spacey. But going towards the panel questions, we do have a few questions here that have been submitted from the form. The first one is, how do you ensure that implemented software continues to be used and is of value to those who it was built for? So I think this is a great question for you, seeing as there's many different software technologies connected and implemented here.
Right. As I said before, there are actually in the application, there are a couple of functionalities which cannot, which are like connected with the building. One of them is the lockers. So, employee cannot use the lockers if they wouldn't allocate the locker by the application. That's, one of the things. The other thing is the parking lot. If I'm parking car, I have to pay for it. So basically, I got also, the overview of the billing. I got the history, etc. So these are actually the reasons why the employee should use the application. The other thing is, the access control, right? So as I was speaking to our security guys, we were thinking that, in the future we'll be just supporting the application for the accessing the building. But unfortunately, we still have to have those access cards, hanging on our necks, because we have to be recognizable at the first spot. But what we are planning is that those access cards soon wouldn't have, the functionality of the access. So it will be just the application which will, the employees will be using to getting to the building or to the office or to the meeting rooms. So basically, those are the core functionalities, why the employee should use the application. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And just a couple of questions, and I think both of these relate to returning to office and hybrid office. And I know that you're still deciding your strategy on this, but it would be great still to hear your thoughts about cultural readiness when people return, or which teams or groups of employees want to return to the office, and if you can share more about that, and also the team collaboration when transitioning to hybrid office. If you can share more about that, that would be great.
Okay. Yeah, before COVID, we were actually, looking at the solution of, how employees can be able to book the workstation. But it was very difficult to get the use case, from the management, because the reason why is because we still had enough of places, right? But then the COVID situation came, and most of the employees, were asked to stay home. So this sort of, we put it aside. We didn't cancel the request. We didn't cancel, anything around it, but it was just put aside. I mean, we were open through whole period of the COVID through the pandemic, and now the people are slowly coming back to the office. And in case of Prague, we still have enough of workstations. And what we are now waiting is that there were some big project running across the Central Europe offices, basically, and we are now waiting for the results. How the hybrid office will work in the future. So, and that's one thing. And the other thing is, lots of offices, not just ours, is actually looking how shall we make the office the most, how would I say it, like usable, right? Because some offices has decided to lend some space, to sublet some space. Then some offices are still waiting, what's going to happen after the holidays. So we are still waiting, and we are looking at the solution of booking the workstation, but still I mean, we are in a situation where we still have enough of places, right? When the employees are coming to the office, they still have a place, to sit. So there's nothing which will basically push them to use or to book the workstation, right? So, but anyway, we want to be prepared. We're waiting for the results of the big survey which was going on, a couple of months ago, and we're also looking in the future. So there are any sort of opportunities which are coming up, and we just still sort of thinking about it and see what's going to happen.
That sounds great. I mean, hoteling is something that, from what I understand, it's since you have enough space now, it's not something you're considering, but it's something you're doing surveys on, not just in more on a regional and global level as Deloitte, in order to find out what your strategy should be, if I understand correctly, especially after the summer period.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds great. Jay, any questions on the chat that were submitted that I missed?
I have a question here. Are there additional functions that Gabriela believes can be managed through Spaceti?
Well, one of the functions is like creating a meeting. So I know that everyone has most of people have Outlook installed on a mobile phone. But anyway, this functionality is also in the application. You can make a quick meeting from the application, directly from the application. You can book a room also from the application, and you can invite your colleagues to the meeting, and this information gets automatically connected to Outlook. So you got it also in your Outlook. That's one of the good functionality. The other functionality I would say is connected to the building. We have a restaurant in our building, and we can display the menu. And one thing which is very good for newcomers is that we have a map of the building in the application, and also offline navigation. So basically, as a user, I can select where I'm standing, and I select where I want to go, and the application finds the quickest way. And this is very good for the newcomers, because as I said, we have 7 floors. We have many of meeting rooms. We have many partners. So basically, everything is in the application, and I can, quite fast. I can find, if I'm on the 3rd floor and I have a meeting in the 7th floor, where is the meeting room where I have to go, or where is the partner who wants to see me. So this is something which is very useful.
Oh, that's
Thank
perfect.
you, Gabriela. Jay, any other questions for Gabriela?
Yes. So Karen Thurston, she's especially interested in your desire to have the teams return back to the office as opposed to individual contributors, or are you thinking, is it by specific job type? I guess, how are you tackling the return back? How do you decide who does what?
Yeah, I think in our case it's most driven as the job, as you said, because Deloitte is providing all sorts of services, coming from audit, advisory, tax, and consulting. And each team or each function is working in a different way. In the past, tax advisors were more sitting in the office, whereas the audit were kind of traveling to the clients, right? The same for consulting. And as the time has changed, this is something which we are now actually thinking, how can we accommodate this into either the application or even like what we can offer to the employees. I know that currently every team is designing the way how they're going to work, but I would say in general, the teams has decided to work like 3 days, in the office or on the client side, and 2 days, working from home. And also is one more thing which is coming through, and it's the environmental issue and the traveling. We're trying to also like lower down the traveling. I mean, using the planes and stuff like that. So, the COVID situation is actually quite. It's sort of like. Before the COVID situation, we were, our employees were traveling a lot, they were sitting on the client side, whereas now things have changed and most of the employees are working, either from the office remotely, having the meetings as we are now having, online meetings with the client, etc. So that's, I would say, this is the way, how is it going now? And also regarding the teams, it also depends, on the relationships, of the team versus the partner or the manager of the team, right? Because so this is something which is a combination of nature of the business and also like from the way how the employee prefers to work.
That's really interesting. So from your perspective, what's decreased the most is rather client travel to see, to actually go to client sites during this pandemic as a result of the pandemic, especially for companies like Deloitte.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting. That's something that I wasn't expecting. I thought it would return, but maybe people are used to just meeting everyone online now, especially clientele. Yeah. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, and I have to say, it's not just our side. We can see it on our clients as well. Lots of clients is kind of like they switch to online meetings. In the number of like we are having now. I was on a meeting like on Tuesday, and there were like over 50 attendees. And everything was just online. So it's not just us. It's also, I would say, this is something which is across the Europe, I would even say, so
very interesting.
Yeah.
Jay, any final questions for Gabriela?
No, not for Gabriela. I think we covered those.
Great. Gabriela, thank you so much again for your time, and we really appreciate it. Very excited to work with you again. And if there's any other questions, I will get back to you and try to get an answer. That's okay.
Okay. Enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby. Bye-bye.